This episode is brought to you by King of Beards. This is my online shop where you can find high quality products that will help you grow a strong, healthy beard that not only looks great, but also will smell great as well. Definitely the people in your life that like to get up and close with you are gonna thank you for this one. These are products that I use personally. The link is below in the video description section, and if you use my coupon code KING, you'll get 15% off on your first order. In Islam, Muslims are forbidden from doing certain things, and those things are referred to as haram in Islam. Now in the present age, there's a lot of things that are being done, and also many food items that are commonly being consumed by Muslims that are actually disallowed for them to consume. Welcome back guys to another episode here on FTD Facts. I'm your host Leroy Kenton, and for this one I'm going to be looking at 10 food items that are commonly consumed by Muslims without them even knowing that they are actually haram and prohibited to be consumed according to Islam. So let's jump into this one at number 10. Let's take a look at Japanese cuisine. Okay, it is essential to read the description of the dish that you're ordering at a restaurant. The majority of Japanese foods, they use soy sauce, which contains alcohol. Mirin, which also contains alcohol, is another haram component. Popular Japanese foods like sushi may have rice wine, which is mirin, mixed in with the rice. And ramen, as well as various meat dishes, contain ingredients like non-halal meat, including pork, soy sauce, miso, various additives and preservatives, rice wine, mirin, and or sake, and animal fat. Now in addition, vegetable dishes like pickles, soups, bread, snacks, and some desserts may be mushbu, as they may contain alcohol, gelatin, animal fat-based margarine, or other haram ingredients. And mushbu, by the way, just means like frowned upon, but may not necessarily be strictly prohibited based on the components of those food items. From there, let's take a look at instant fried tofu. It is often used as a meat substitute for vegans, and sometimes even vegetarians eat tofu. Sometimes it is fried in pork fat to maintain its crispiness. So it is recommended that all Muslims check the ingredients before using any sort of tofu. Unfortunately, a lot of Muslims tend to think that all types of tofu are just completely halal, but of course that's not true. So definitely you gotta do your due diligence before consuming tofu. The next food to look at is chocolates. But hey, don't worry, not all chocolates are haram. But there are certain types of chocolate that contain alcohol. The ingredients of those chocolates should definitely be checked before consumption. And now if they contain alcohol, then obviously they are haram without any question. That should definitely not be consumed by Muslims at all costs. From there, let's take a look at red candies. So anything that is red that tastes extremely sweet in the candy category, which is often dyed with the food coloring carmine, is made from crushed dead beetles. It is produced by insects that are boiled with sodium carbonate to get the red dye. Now there is a difference of opinion among the 4 Sunni schools of thought in Islam. The Hanafi school considers all types of insects and bugs completely forbidden and haram, but the Malikis, they allow them. However, both the Shafi and the Hanbali schools of thought allow eating some bugs, but not others. So yeah, you definitely got to decide which school of thought you're gonna follow, because as you can see, they can't agree on this topic. Next up, in at the number 6 spot, we have Jello. There are different types of Jello. Some are deemed as halal, while others are deemed as haram. Now the criteria that classifies jelly type foods as either halal or haram to consume is that of its initial ingredients. So let's assume that the latter are all herbal ingredients. All jelly types are halal and permissible to consume. However, assuming that the production of jelly entails using animal components, so such jellies will be considered halal on the condition that the animal in question, number 1, is of the halal meat genre, and number 2, it has been Islamically slaughtered. Assuming neither of these prerequisites are met, well, the jelly will be considered haram. Hence, the basis upon which some jellies are considered haram is due to either the prohibition of their initial ingredients or the absence of the phenomenon of transmutation. Coming up next at the number 5 spot, we have salad dressing. Now, if you taste a little bit of a different type of taste when you're eating salad, especially if you go out to a restaurant, you definitely gotta check to see if the topping or the sauce or the dressing is not baked in fat. So you definitely gotta check to see if it's used with something like olive oil or something. But haram sauces are very popular in different parts of the world. So there definitely is some sort of caution that Muslims should be taking when they are eating salads. Recently, some manufacturers though, they have started making vegan dressings as well. And this is definitely okay and completely halal to consume. The next food item to look at is marshmallows. Foods like jelly beans and marshmallows and other gelatin-based foods also typically contain pork byproducts and are not considered halal, so of course they are haram. Even products like vanilla extract as well as toothpaste can contain alcohol. But yeah, don't worry, there are a whole lot of different marshmallows that don't use pork gelatin. They use other gelatin from other animal sources. So definitely gotta check the labels before you consume. From there, let's take a look at spirit vinegar. Even if the alcohol has evaporated, alcohol and products containing alcohol are considered haram. Therefore, spirit vinegar is haram. However, if alcohol is not used in the making of the vinegar, then it's halal. So definitely gotta be sure to check the description of the ingredients before buying. And vinegar is produced by using various things such as fruit and fruit juices, lemons, dates, grapes, raisins, coconut, sugarcane, etc. As well as grains and like barley and rice and wheat are used. Honey and even synthetic products such as natural gas and petroleum derivatives are also used. Vinegar is made through a 2-step process. There's number 1, fermentation, in which the sugars in the material are converted to ethanol. Example of this is grape juice that's converted into wine. And number 2 is oxidation, in which the ethanol is converted into acetic acid. An example of this is wine is then converted into vinegar. The next haram food item is cake mix. This is definitely something that Muslims gotta check out first. Some people have particular tastes when it comes to cakes, you know, like a sweet tooth. You just like eating sweet foods. But many brands introduce different varieties of cakes into the market that are loved by many people. But definitely Muslims should be aware to confirm that the ingredients are completely halal. Oftentimes it's just not thought about. Lately, people have tried to confirm if a particular variant of cake recipe prepared by the famous brand Betty Crocker is halal or not. And they claim that research by another website that investigated the particular variant of a cake recipe and reportedly declared it not halal. That was very surprising. The food item to end this episode off at number 1 is potato chips. Many chips are flavored with cheese and they may include non-permissible cheese or whey. And if the cheese is made with animal rennet rather than bacterial lactic acid or acidic fluids like vinegar or lemon, then the finished products are similarly haram. However, if the rennet is obtained by halal extraction, it is of course permissible to use. If you eat beef chips, let's say fried chicken nuggets or chicken meat chips in a restaurant or from a bag, definitely if you're Muslim, you gotta check that it has been processed according to halal standards. So definitely you gotta avoid eating pork chips at all costs because they of course are strictly haram. So there you have it, guys. This was a rundown on 10 food items that many Muslims are consuming that are actually haram. I definitely know that there are several different varieties of these types of food that fall within the halal category, but in case you didn't know, well, now you know. gotta be careful to check those labels to see whether or not they are halal or haram. And sometimes it may take just some further research. Either way, guys, if you made it this far in this episode, don't forget to leave a big like. And also let me know down below in the comments section what your thoughts were about anything that was shared in this episode. Until next time, guys, stay awesome, stay educated, and I'll catch you in the next episode.